Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this class we are going to discuss very important articles that appear in our today's Hindu newspaper. So let's get started with our discussion. First I'll let you know the important topics of the day that we are going to have in our discussion, and we are going to see each and every article from both prelims and as well as mains point of view, and I'll let you know how the questions can be asked both in prelims, mains, and as well as even in your interview point of view from that topic. And next we are going to see prelims practice questions from this today's articles. The first topic is restrictive software tools used for SIR, says Supreme Court. So as you all know that what is SIR and what is SIR, Special Entrance Revision. So there is some controversy which is going on regarding this SIR. Many petitions had been filed before Supreme Court, and Supreme Court even asked about these petitions everything to Election Commission also. Election Commission also gave a strong reply to Supreme Court. But now Supreme Court is talking about what kind of software they used to authenticate the names in that voter list. So because of this it is in news. It is talking about software and what are the problems in that software. And this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under polity. And next topic is there is one image in the national edition of Hindu. It is about backwaters of Kerala. As an UPSC aspirant, you have to know what are the skiles. Backwater is also called as skiles. So you have to know about that because already UPSC asked questions regarding skiles of Kerala. And next topic is bonded labor continues despite 50 years of its abolition. As I said, if there is any important news in the newspaper which is of 50 years or 75 years or 100 years, there is a very high chance of getting question. So we came up with an act to abolish this bonded labor 50 years back, means it is around 1976. We are in 2026, right? 1976. So here this year it is 50 years of that act. But even though in some areas we are having this bonded labor, that means you can expect a question related to this bonded labor. And this topic is important from your polity from GS paper 2. And next topic is there is a new species of dragonfly which had been identified in Kerala's rubber plantation. So here you may get a question regarding this rubber, you may get a question regarding this new species of this dragonfly. And this topic is important from your environment and ecology and as well as geography. And next topic is India and Greece agree to strengthen defense industrial cooperation in 5-year roadmap. You have to see about what is this defense industrial cooperation, how we are going to be get benefited, how it is going to help Atmanirbhar Bharat and as well as Made in India concept of our government of India. And this topic is important from GS paper 2 under international issue. And here you have to see where is this Greece located, and you have to see map of the Greece, no choice. Our next topic is back on track. In yesterday's class we discussed about India Malaysia agreements, right? So there is one editorial in our Hindu which talks about the same thing, India Malaysia relations. And next topic is what is the new RRTS project in Kerala. Already we discussed about this rapid rail project in Kerala. So again there is one article in our text in context, there is a high chance of getting a question regarding this railways. So here we are going to see some basic facts regarding that project. So all these are the topics of the day. Yes, now see this article guys, read out the title. Restrictive software tools used for SIR. To understand this, you have to know lot of the background. First you have to see about SIR, and next you have to see what are the issues of SIR, and you have to see about what Supreme Court ruling is about regarding this SIR, and what is the response given by Election Commission of India. And here you have to see articles because there is a very high chance of getting articles in your question paper from prelims point of view. You have to see those articles which are stated by this Election Commission of India in reply to the questions of Supreme Court. And next, now again the fresh claims on this software you have to see. Okay, so these are the things that you have to see from prelims point of view. For sure you may get this year question related to this SIR. And next one is powers of Election Commission of India. These two are expected topics for prelims 2026. Mind my words and please focus on these two areas. And next one is in your mains, you may get a question regarding adult suffrage. How it is affecting right to vote. You may get regarding adult suffrage or right to vote, how it is getting affected in India. So if this kind of SAR, if it is removing the crores of names in this voter list, can we ensure democracy in our country? And India is known for the largest democratic country, right? So what is your opinion on that? So on that, you may get a question in your mains. It will be like analytical question itself. It will be not direct question. And in your interview, if you are from CSC background, computer science background, anyone from CSC background? Raise your hands. Ah, very good. So if you're from the CSC background, what they will ask here is recently software tool and its controversy related to this SIR. What is your opinion? So how a good website should be? So how we have to make the software tools, how we can make the software tools inclusive. So like that you may get question. And you may also get a question regarding this electronic voter machine, EVM. Do you know this EVM? The machine which we will use to cast our vote. So they may compare these EVMs with this kind of software tools. Uh, can we hack these EVMs like that? So in all these ways, you have to think about regarding this article. Okay. So don't think that only this title is there and we have to read the title. It is not just reading the title and you have to dig deep into this articles. Then only you will be getting lots of insights regarding current affairs and you will be able to answer whatever the question. It may be in prelims, mains and interview from this area. Clear? So now let us see what is SIR, Special Entrance Division. What we are doing in that SIR? Just a small recap. Yeah, we are going for door to door, and what we are doing, we are asking their documents and we are checking, and if documents everything is right, so we are remaining their names in the voter list. If not, we are removing there. So in which state first SIR started in our country? West Bengal? Is it right? In which state elections happened? Bihar. Yes, first it started in Bihar, and later on, slowly, we extended to other country, other states. Even in our south, also Tamil Nadu and Kerala are also having this kind of issues related to this removal of lakhs of people's names in this voter list. And what they are doing, they are filing cases to Supreme Court, etc., High Court, etc., regarding the removal of names. And what Supreme Court said to Election Commission? Yes, Election Commission, you are doing this, but there is a lots of exclusion is happening. So what is your take on it? What Election Commission gave the reply? It is our duty, it is our constitutional duty under which article? Article 324 and Article 325 it said, and Article 326. So these three articles showcased by Election Commission said that it is my constitutional duty and I have to include the right persons in this voter list, and we have to ensure that there is no foreigner who is part of this elections or voters, so that other countries' influence will not be there in our elections, and our responsibility is to ensure free and fair election. That is a reply given by Election Commission. And now here the fresh statement which said by the Supreme Court is restrictive software tools used for SIR. So what are the tools which had been used by this Election Commission of India for this SIR? They are restrictive tools. What is the meaning of restrictive? Restrict means restricted area. What does it mean? Have you heard this restricted area? If there is any crime scene or if there is anything happened, they will be showcasing a board restricted areas. Even in hospitals, also some areas, restricted areas, especially OTs, that is operation theaters. Limited. So only the limited people can enter into that area, or only authorized people can be entered. So what is happening in this software tool here is, have you ever seen, we will be having different spellings for the same name, and even for the surnames also we can use different spellings for the same kind of surname. For example, Roy, R-A-Y they can write, ROY they can write. RAI also, like that. If you are having the different kind of spellings, they are not allowing that kind of name to be valid in that electoral list. So because of this, what is happening here? Lots of exclusion is happening. So that is the thing which mainly said by the Supreme Court now. So now let us see here. Supreme Court hearings criticizing the Election Commission of India for using overly restrictive software tools during this special intense revision of electoral rolls in this West Bengal. And it says that whatever the software tools they had been used, they are failing to account for cultural, natural variation, personal details. For example, the same surname, if you're going from one state to another state or one district to another district, the spelling is different. So because of that minute changes in the spellings, they are not accepting their names. Because of this, it causes large exclusion from this voter list. That is the thing which mainly said by Supreme Court now. So if you see about this issue with the software tool, so here Supreme Court clearly said that this software is very restrictive and it eliminates natural differences common in Indian households, particularly in Bengal. For example, ROY, ROI, ROY or RAY or RAI also they can write. So here because of this minute spellings, here what is happening here, their names had been deleted. And next one here is, there are many times there is omission of names like Kumar, like that. So because of this, there is increased trigger regarding this SIR deletions now in this West Bengal. That is the thing which mainly said here. Because of this, around 70 lakh people, they filed their petitions because of this small spelling changes, alterations from one area to another area that led to the removal of their names. What happens if this software is very restrictive? Can we ensure inclusive society? No. Can we ensure right to vote, which is adult suffrage? No. So that is the thing which mainly highlighted here. And what is the impact of the Supreme Court observation now? We can go for immediate procedural change. Then what happen if you're going for changes? Obviously, we can include more and more number of names in this voter list so that we can ensure our inclusive criteria. And next one here is, we can prevent potential overreach. And next one here is, we can enhance accountability measures. And obviously, we can protect people's rights, especially marginalized sections of society. So these are the things that you have to remember. And just revise about this SIR. And this year, go thoroughly with this Election Commission of India chapter. For sure, you'll get a question. And see this image, guys. What can you see in this image? Water, boating, fishing. Next. Nets. Fishing. Okay, so here if you see, this is the image which shows about the backwaters of Kerala. So this backwaters of Kerala are called as Kayals. In UPSC PYQs, if I'm not wrong, in 2016 or 17, there was a question related to this Kayals. Kayals are seen in which of the following state? Very simple question. Okay, Kayals are nothing but the backwaters. So here you may get a question regarding this backwaters. They'll give you in this format, consider the following statements related to backwaters, and they'll give you 2 to 3 statements. And next one here is, they may ask you a question related to the lakes. They will be asking you in this format. On one side, they'll be giving you the lake name. On another side, they may ask you which lake is it, like salt water or fresh water. And another line you can get state it to which it belongs to. And they may ask you to identify correct pairs. And in this way, already UPSC asked question, because this time wetlands are highly in use, wetland pollution. And especially in Kerala, one important lake called as Vembanad is in news because of high rate of pollution because of animal waste in that. So because of this, there is a very high chance of getting question related to the Kayals, first expected. Next one is wetlands. In this wetlands, you have to see Ramsar sites. And next, you have to see about lakes and in which states, and whether it is fresh water or salt water lake. Okay, so in this way you have to do some back engineering or reverse engineering so that you can do better in your prelims, or else you will be not doing that kind of questions, especially related to the facts. Okay, if you see about this backwaters are nothing but the interconnected network, and in this network we have rivers, we have lakes. 38 rivers, 5 large lakes, and there are around 900 kilometers of canals. These are running parallel to this Arabian Sea. Because of this, they are called as backwaters. And next one here is, in this area, we can go for paddy fields, and it is helpful for transportation purpose, especially inland waterways. And it is also important for the scenic beauty. It is attracting the tourist in this Kerala because of this backwaters. And if you see the key aspects, the first one here is they have brackish lagoons. What is a lagoon? I've heard about this word lagoon. Lagoon, bay, lake. What is this lagoon? What is this lagoon? There will be small difference between lagoon, lake and a bay. What is that? Think, you know this, Hemant? Land surrounded by water. Next. Small passage of water. Okay. Let us take, this is land. Here we have certain rivers. Yes. What is the function of rivers? Will they move or they are static? They move. Whenever they are moving, they will bring sediments. Yes. Where the sediment will be getting accumulated at the mouth of the river. And what is this called as? Delta. If they are not bringing any sediments and if they are directly joining the sea, then what is called as estuary. On the east coast of India, we have deltas, especially Mahanadi and this river Ganga and Brahmaputra, Krishna, Kaveri. They are famous for deltas, and these deltas will have very high fertile area which is helpful for the agriculture. Okay, if they are depositing at the mouth of this river, it is called as delta. Sometimes what happens, these sediments will be also entering and it is forming like outside. It is called as spit bar. Okay, and what happens slowly, if it is increasing and it is forming a water body, and this spit bar is differentiating the sea with this water body, then that is called as lagoon. Okay, and this one is slowly what happened, this sediment are increasing and it is forming a boundary around that water body. Then now it is called as lake. Are you understanding the difference? What is lake, what is spit bar, what is lagoon, and what is lake? So here, whenever river it is sedimenting or whether it is depositing the sediments at this mouth of the river, it is called as delta. It is inland. Okay, if it is going into the water and if it is depositing there, that is called as spit bar. And if the spit bar, it is dividing the sea with water body, that is called as lagoon. Lagoon is nothing but it is having contact with the mainland and it is having contact with this water also. Water will be moving from the sea inside, outside. Then what happens if this sediment is increasing and if it is completely bounding that water and it is differentiating the sea and as well as that water body, then that is called as lake. And these lakes are normally salt water lakes because they are formed with this water only, water of the sea. Sea water is normally salty in nature, saline water. So here this water will be like salt water. And do you know this Chilika Lake? Chilika Lake is a lagoon and Pulicat Lake is a lake. Okay, are you understanding? So like that, this is the formation of this kind of split bars, deltas, lakes and lagoons. You have to know that. Okay, now if you see the key aspects here, it is a brackish lagoons and estuaries because Kerala is present on the west coast. So whatever the rivers which are moving towards west and join the Arabian Sea, they will not carry sediments much. What is the reason why these rivers are not carrying much sediments? We have Western Ghats. Next. Come on, come on. Western Ghats are made up of hard rocks. They are not soft rocks. So because of this, what happens? If the water is moving there, it will cut, but it will not create more and more sediment. So because of this, they will not form this deltas, and they just go and they just join this sea without forming any sedimental deposition there. Because of this, it is called as estuary. And next one here is we have very important lake in this backwater, that is Vemanand Lake. So actually this Vemanand Lake is in use around 5 to 7 months ago. The reason is whatever the animal waste, biological waste is there, they are dumping in this Vemanand Lake. So because of this BOD, biological oxygen demand is very, very bad in that lake. And now Kerala government is taking lots of steps for cleaning of that lake, because it will be providing livelihood for many fishermen, and as well as it is very important for this transportation purpose as well. So because of this, now Kerala government is taking lot of steps for improvement of this lake condition. So because of this, you may get a question regarding this Kyles. And this one here is millions of people, they live in this region, and they will use this backwaters for road, that's nothing but the transportation by using small boats, and for daily activities, daily commerce will be happening through this region. And this one is, it is very important for tourism, because Kerala's economy is based on tourism, right? So here this kind of backwaters are helpful for this kind of tourism in that region, and this region is also having wide range of biodiversity. And some key locations in this backwaters are, you know about this Alapi backwaters, Astamodi Lake, Vemanand Lake, and Kuttanad region. So in this region, they will go for farming of paddy also. So normally, you know that paddy needs more amount of water, and it is a water intensive crop, rice. So here, because of this backwaters, they will go for growing of paddy in that water itself. Okay, and even recently, one paddy from this Kerala got this GI tag. So check what is that. Okay. Yeah, see this next article, guys. Bonded labor continues despite 50 years of its abolition. So where you have heard about this bonded labor word? Have you heard this bonded labor word? Where exactly? In which subject? Honest students, tell me. In which subject? Economy. Apart from economy? Society. Apart from society, I want major subject where you will be studying about this bonded labor. Governance. Apart from governance? Apart from governance, is there any article in your constitution talks about this bonded labor? Shh, come on. Which article is that? In polity, in fundamental rights, there is one article which talks about abolition of bonded labor. Which article is it? 23 and 24, which talks about rights against exploitation. It is there. It is a fundamental right, right? Okay, what is the meaning of bonded labor? Bonded labor. You know about labor. Okay, tell me about what is bonded. What is bonded and when this bonded labor started in India? When this bonded labor started in India? Okay, tell me at least what is meaning of bonded labor. Okay, they are not free. Next. Only that generation has to work, or like generations together they have to work? Do they get any salary? Do they get any wages for the work? They will not get. But why they have to work for them? Kattappa. Why they have to work for them? Why? Why? Debt. Next. Have you seen old movies? In some old movies, they'll say that generations, my great grandfather, my father, me, my children has to work for this family. Have you seen that kind of movies? Why? The roots of this bonded labor goes back to Vedic system or Vedic era. So what happened during this Vedic era? Early Vedic, later Vedic period? Varna system, caste system came into existence. What is the difference between early Vedic caste system and later Vedic caste system? Okay, early Vedic is based on their occupation and later Vedic is based on their birth. That means the rigidity of this caste system started from this later Vedic period. So from that time onwards, this so-called Shudras and as well as out of this Varna system people, they has to work for the high caste people. And even not only that generation, but generations together. And what they will get, just they'll get kind. Whatever the requirements they need to sustain their life, they'll be getting, but they will be not getting extra salary. So is that right? We got independence in year 1947 and we started framing of our constitution, and when our constitution came into effect 1950, right? So from in that constitution we have the fundamental rights, and in that we added this article 23 and 24 in our fundamental rights, and we are saying that it is not right. So this 23 and 24 talks about rights against exploitation, and we have to ensure article 21 and article 14. Article 21 talks about right to life and personal liberty, and article 14 talks about right to equality. Okay, and not only that, we already came up with certain laws or acts in our country to prohibit this. Because as you all know that at that time literacy is very very low in our country, and we are a poor country at that time. So because of this, people they don't know about their rights. So because of this, it had been continued. So government thought that we have to come up with a law and we have to punish the people who are employing this bonded labor. For that, they came up with this Bonded Labor Abolition Act in year 1976. And that act abolished bonded labor in all forms. But even today we are in 2026. But even today also, there are certain cases related to this bonded labor. You can see this image. It is showing about the labor who are working in some bricks only, right? Brick kilns. So here it is in West Bengal. And here this article is saying that when the nation was observing 50 years of the enactment of Bonded Labor System Abolition Act, Chamru Maji and his wife and 3 children were rescued from a brick kiln in Nadia district, West Bengal. It was a joint effort by several departments, including the police officers and district legal service authority secretary. That means here this article is saying that even in 2026 also in certain areas of less developed states of our country, we have this bonded labor. So now you guys tell me, if you are posted in that area and there are many cases of bonded labor in your district, what kind of steps you can take and which acts will give you power to abolish this bonded labor in your district? Are you understanding the question? Now tell me guys, what are the steps that you can take? Because it is a real case study, real study. So case studies will be given on current affairs only. So if you have good grip on what are the social issues which are going on in the society, you will be getting case studies on that only. Okay, now tell me guys, what kind of steps you can take? Online students, tell me. Come on, think. Will you allow to continue bonded labor in your state? Will you be silent first of all? Then what will you do? Legal, how? What can you do? Tell me what will comes into your mind at least. Okay, first of all you will file a case. In that case you can show that Bonded Labor Abolition Act is preventing this bonded labor. Okay, next. And you will be seeing about the caste of that people who are working as bonded labor, and you can use this SC/ST Atrocities Act, Civil Rights Act. Okay, next. Yeah, Article 23 and 24 also you can file. Article 23, 24, 21, 14, abolition. Okay, next. Next, what can you use? That means one thing, it is very clear that even in your case studies also you can use acts and you can use articles related to the constitution. Next. Yes, Minimum Wages Act, very good. Next. Is there anything written in DPSP related to this bonded labor apart from fundamental rights? Think. DPSP. Is there anything related to bonded labor in DPSP? Okay. Here, how can you get a question in your prelims? Related to bonded labor, which of the following articles will be getting affected? They'll give you articles of both fundamental rights, DPSPs, and fundamental duties. Okay, always keep in your mind, if you are getting articles related to fundamental rights, there will be the mix of fundamental rights, DPSPs, and fundamental duties. That means you have to know clearly which article is fundamental right, which article is DPSP, and which article is fundamental duties. You have to be very careful with that. And next one here is, you may get a question related to this Bonded Labor Abolition Act of 1976, because this year marks 50 years. Directly you may get statements related to that act itself, and you have to be careful. And this topic is very important from your mains point of view, because in your polity you will be studying, in your governance you will be studying, in economy you will be studying, right? So here what UPSC may ask here is, despite Bonded Labor Abolition Act came into effect 50 years ago, what do you think? What are the reasons behind this bonded labor in India? What measures taken by our government of India, and suggest way forward? Are you understanding? They may ask, what is this bonded labor? They may ask, what are the reasons in India, and what measures we have to take, and what government measures already taken. So these things that you have to focus in your mains. And if you are from West Bengal, you will be getting question related to this bonded labor. Recently we saw reports related to this bonded labor from your state. What do you think? Is government is not efficient? Is government is not taking any steps? What is your opinion? What is your take on it? Like that, they will keep you in a critical situation where you cannot criticize the government, where you cannot say that government is not doing something. So you need to take a balanced approach. Okay? In that way, the questions will be in your interview. They will try to make in a critical situation. Have you ever heard mundu goyi nuyi antaru kada edo sameta mundu pothe goyi enka chuste nuyi ani cheppi aa situation lo exactly they'll keep you in that situation. Itu cheppala atu cheppala, and you will be not having any time to take 5 minutes 10 minutes there to think and write. Okay, your answer should be like spontaneous. So try to think in that way, like how you have to overcome that kind of critical situations. Okay, now let us see about this bonded labor. Bonded labor has been defined by National Commission on Labor as the labor which remains in bondage for a specific period for debt incurred. And now individuals are forced to work for creditors either without pay or with sometimes very meager wages. So this is the definition of bonded labor, which is given by National Commission of Labor. And one more thing you have to remember and you have to keep in mind is, if you are giving any definitions, you have to say according to World Bank, according to this commission, according to IMF, according to World Economic Forum. So like that, try to write authenticated definitions and try to underline that word which organization said about that. Okay, that is a point that you have to remember regarding this definitions. And what are the articles? First one is Article 21, which tells about right to life and personal liberty will be getting affected. And this one is Article 23 and 24. What is Article 23? It prohibits human trafficking, forced labor. Okay, so this bonded labor comes under forced labor. And this one is Article 24, prohibits employment of children below 14 years in factories, mines, and hazardous occupations. And this one is, even your DPSP, please make a note, Article 42 and Article 43. Article 42 talks about just and fair humane working conditions. Article 43 talks about state has to secure a living wage and decent working conditions for workers. And Article 46 promotes educational and economic interests of scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and weaker sections. So not only fundamental rights, even your DPSP 42, 43, and 46 also talks about this bonded labor. And if you are getting question, which of the fundamental rights will be getting affected? Which of the following articles will be getting affected? They'll give combination of both these fundamental rights, duties, and DPSPs. And you have to be in a condition to eliminate which are not part of that. Okay. And this one is, if you say about acts related to this bonded labor, and you have to make a note, this will be like a validation in your answers. First one, you know, Bonded Labor System Abolition Act. It completely abolishes bonded labor, and this act will freeze bonded laborers from obligations, and even it criminalizes such kind of offenses in our country. First one is Bonded Labor System Abolition Act. And next one is we have Child and Adolescent Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act of 1986. And this act which prohibits the working of children below 14 years of age in hazardous companies. And this one is Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act. And this time you can also expect question related to this juveniles. Why juveniles is in news? Juveniles. Why it is in news recently? I think 15 days or 20 days ago we discussed. We have to decrease the age of juveniles. Okay, what is the age that now we are taking into consideration? 18? First it was 18, but after this Nirbhaya gang rape case, we reduce it to 16. And now we are demanding it to further decrease of this age to 14 years. So because of this, you may also get question related to who are these juveniles, juveniles courts, juveniles justice boards, etc. Also, you will be getting questions. And next one is we have Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Under that, it is also addresses offences of unlawful compulsory labor, and it is also providing legal provisions to prevent and punish forced labor practices in our country. Whenever you are writing your case study related to bonded labor, you can use all these things. Are you understanding? Apart from articles, you know this Bonded Labor Abolition Act. We have Juvenile Justice Act. We have Child and Adolescent Labor Act. We have Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. We can use this all acts and we can punish the people who are involved in this bonded labor strictly. And if you are becoming IPS officer, if you want to aim for IPS, obviously you have to know all these acts related to punishments. And you have to know about the Fraser Commission. You will be made to by-hat that Fraser Commission. If you are not able to complete that by-hatting, also means your extension period of your training will be extended by 6 months. You have to know all these things. IPS training will be more difficult than IAS. Do you know this? Fraser Commission, all sections you have to by-hat, and the exams will be there on that sections. Okay. Yeah, say this next. What are the systemic drivers? What are the causes? I gave you a mnemonic: bondage. You can remember this bondage word, and on this words I will be giving you like how can you remember what are the reasons for this bonded labor. First one is B, right? B means nothing but bureaucratic inefficiency. That means nothing but whatever the laws we have 4 to 5 things that we discussed now, but there is no proper enforcement. What is the meaning of enforcement? It is not only implementing. If someone is not following that, we need to punish them strictly. Then that is called as enforcement. Implementation is different and enforcement is different. If implementation is also there, but if there is no enforcement, if there is no punishment, can we bring the change in the society? No, for sure. So here, because of bureaucratic inefficiency, that is nothing but poor enforcement of laws. And next one here is O for overwhelming poverty. So because of these families which are in extreme poverty, they will go for some borrowing of money. If they are borrowing the money, if they are not able to repay that, they will enter into this trap of bonded labor. And next one is N, that is nothing but no education, lack of education opportunities. Because of this, what happened? Child labor can happen, and they will be getting into this trap of bonded labor because of lack of opportunities for work and livelihood. And D for debt trap. If families fall into this debt trap, if they cannot get enough money to repay that, they will fall into this trap again because of high interest rates from this money lenders. And A for agriculture allied sector. So normally this allied sectors comes under informal sectors. So because of this, what happened in agriculture? Normally we will be having a tendency to exploit this cheap agricultural labor. That is also very important thing. And G for gender discrimination. Gender inequality also exacerbates this exploitation. Girls are often more vulnerable compared to the boys related to this bonded labor. And E for exploitation. So most of the employers in unregulated sectors, they exploit weak laws, poor enforcement, and even they'll force children to work in the companies. So because of this, what happened? Bonded labor can happen. So this is the bondage mnemonic you can use and you can remember those. And what are the measures needed? There is one more mnemonic, rescue. What is meaning of rescue? We have to go and kapadam. Okay, rescue. So here what kind of measures we can take? R is for revive law enforcement. We have to strengthen our already available laws. For example, Bonded Labor Abolition Act. And E for educate children. We have to ensure access for the children education. So which article talks about it? Article 21A. And we have Right to Education Act. You can mention those two. And as for support families, we have to expand this welfare schemes for this vulnerable sections of society. Okay, and next one is we have to go for direct cash transfers to reduce the children's reliance on these money lenders, etc. And C for create awareness. So many people, they don't aware about their rights, they don't aware about the government schemes, what exactly the government is doing, what are the acts which are there, everything. So if you're creating awareness in that hotspot areas, obviously we can prevent this kind of bonded labors. And next one here is we have to unite communities, especially by community awareness, we can encourage the collective responsibility. So exploitation is like socially unacceptable. If there is some exploitation, you can come and you can file a case. And next one here is we have to empower NGOs. We can collaborate with NGOs and we can implement central sector schemes. Like we have rehabilitation of bonded laborers. Under that, government is providing certain direct benefit transfer for this bonded labor. So like that, we have to create awareness by using this NGOs. Okay, and see this next article. New species of dragonfly discovered in Kerala's rubber plantations, and the name is Lyriothemis keralensis. Okay, so here you may get a question like this. Here they gave directly rubber plantations, right? So new species of dragonfly discovered in Kerala named as Lyriothemis keralensis, seen in which of the following plantations? Coffee plantations, tea plantations, rubber plantation, Western Ghats. You can check in 2018, 17, 16, 19, they gave that kind of questions. Identified Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, this hill, that hill, like that. So here they gave directly rubber plantations, and Kerala is famous for, especially this Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu is famous for spices, tea, coffee and rubber. So they may give all these things. That is the first area. And next one is recently new species Lyriothemis keralensis is seen. What it is? They'll give you butterfly, bird, snake, fish, dragonfly, like that. In 2023, there was a question regarding cicada. Cicada is seen in recently news. What it is? It is insect. Actually, the cicada is very famous for certain kind of sound. Cicada, cicada. You can type that in YouTube or Google. You can see that insect. It will make like some sound in the night, and it will make fear also. It will make you afraid because of that sound. So there was a question on that cicada. Okay, and earlier there was question regarding some fish or like yeah, in the same way they gave the scientific name and they said what it is, and they gave like insect, butterfly, like that. I can't recall exactly the question. The question is in 2017. Okay, so like that you will be getting that kind of questions. So you have to be very much careful related to the news piece. And one thing I say here is if you're getting only one question will come, but for one question you have to remember 1 year means it will be difficult, no? Skip that. Cost benefit analysis you can do. Okay. But we don't know if they give two or three questions means we will be falling into a trap. But UPSC will be asking only one type of question related to that in species in news. So check once, that's it. Just read it and leave it. If you can remember or recall, then it is your luck. Then we cannot say anything if you can't recall or remember. And now they have to see about this rubber plantations. And I think they asked about this rubber related question in 2022, I guess. Check once PYQs. In 2022, I guess they asked about rubber. From which of the following countries we are importing rubber? And they gave the statement regarding rubber is produced in which of the states, like that they gave combination of current affairs and static based question. So see here related to the rubber. So if you want to grow the rubber in India, what are the geographical conditions which is necessary? Like what is the rainfall, what is the temperature, and which kind of soils? And you have to see in which states in our country we are producing this rubber. And next you have to make a note of even from which of the countries we are importing rubber. Okay, so you know these rubber plants, right? So if you see the YouTube reels, they will make some incision in this plants and they'll keep something and white color latex will come and will fall into that, and next day they will collect and they'll go for processing. And even they may ask you in which of the following sectors rubber is used. Where we'll use this rubber? For manufacturing of what? Okay, tires. Next. Cigarettes. That is plastic. That is not rubber. Check once. Next. Where will use this rubber apart from tires? Huh? Huh? Laboratories. Okay, next. Education rubbers. No, both Akash. Check in which of the following industries you are using rubbers also. They may ask question. We don't know. So try to make notes on these areas. Okay, see this next topic. India, Greece agree to strengthen defense industrial cooperation 5-year roadmap. Where is this Greece located? Greece. In world history, you'll come across this Greece, right? Europe. Which countries share boundaries with Greece? Specialty of Greece. Greece is known for, yeah. World history is done. Which countries are sharing boundary with Greece? వరల్డ్ హిస్టరీ చదివినప్పుడు పెట్టుకోలేదా పక్కన వరల్డ్ మ్యాప్? Come on, think. At least tell me which countries are sharing boundary with Greece. Online students, tell me guys. Right countries sharing boundary with Greece after this class. And you have to know Greece is famous for what? Okay, now let us see this article. This article is saying that India and Greece have taken a significant step to deepen strategic partnership by signing joint declaration of intent, and we are focusing on strengthening of defense industrial collaboration. What is the meaning of defense industrial collaboration? Defense industries means what is this? What comes under defense? What comes under defense? Our army, our navy, our air force, coast guard, all this comes under defense. So for our defense, we need to have good equipment. So if we are focusing on development of defense things, equipments in our country, who will manufacture this defense equipments in our country? Which organizations? In Hyderabad also we have. Which companies will produce this defense equipments? DRDO, HAL. Yes, right. So what this defense industrial collaboration means? Whatever the companies which are present in India which are producing this defense equipments, they are going to have good touch with this Greece related industries, and now we are going to have advanced technology from this Greece, and that Greece companies will be helping our Indian companies to produce more and more. That means, will it align with this Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India component? That is about this article, nothing more than that. Okay, so here this move will help to improve our security, because we learned a lot from Operation Sindoor that we are lagging behind the drones. And this one here is, it will be also helpful for our maritime cooperation, and even we can improve our indigenous production of this defense because of this agreement with this Greece. And what is this 5-year roadmap? The first one is, they said that we are going to expand our defense industrial cooperation, and we are focusing on long-term partnership rather than a short-term partnership now. And we are focusing on improving of our capacities. And next one is, this agreement is aligning with our Atmanirbhar Bharat. That means we want to increase our production in our country. And next one is, we are focusing on modernization as well. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said here. And see this article, India, Malaysia. So here in yesterday's class, we saw one prelims based question also related to this Malaysia's geography, right? So now tell me what we discussed in yesterday's class related to India-Malaysia relations. Okay, so this article is saying that our Prime Minister, he visited Malaysia and we finalized certain agreements with Malaysia. And overall this agreements is called as impact. Please make a note, impact. Impact. Recently impact is seen in news. It is signed between which and which countries? They'll give India US, India Russia, India Malaysia, India Thailand. Are you understanding? So in that way you will be getting a question. Okay, so what is the full form of this impact? Impact stands for, write down, India Malaysia Partnership for Advancing Collective Transformation. Write down, India Malaysia Partnership, India Malaysia Partnership for advancing collective transformation. Okay, recently impact agreement is seen in news. It is signed between which and which country is the first possible question. And second possible question is, recently India signed impact agreement with Malaysia. Which of the following are the part of this agreement? They'll give you 2 to 3 statements. And next one here is, recently we signed lots of agreement with different countries. So they may give you pair based question. On one side India and that country, and they'll be asking you on another side, they'll give you agreements names, and they may ask you which of the above are right or incorrect. Okay, which of the above pairs are correct or incorrect, they may ask. So in that way also you have to be prepared well. So if you see about this impact, it is focusing on improving of bilateral cooperation between India and Malaysia, and they are focusing on economic growth, digital integration, and as well as improvement of culture ties, and as well as people to people contact. All we discussed in our yesterday's class. First one is, we are going to have around 100 IT companies operate in Malaysia, so that we can create employment opportunities and we can strengthen our digital ecosystem. And we discussed that we are going to launch UPI in Malaysia as well. In yesterday's class I said with which of the countries we have this UPI agreement also, and that was a question 2025. I said that. And this one here is, we are going to improve people to people and diaspora linkage. We are going for expansion of eligibility to 6th generation, scholarships, culture contacts, everything. And we are going to improve our heritage, maritime heritage in Indian Ocean region, and we are going to improve our linguistic and cultural links, and even we are focusing on improving of India's leverage in this ASEAN. So you may also get question related to this ASEAN grouping that I said in our yesterday's class to make a notes of basics of this ASEAN. Okay, now let us see the next article. You know about this, right? What is this new RRTS project of Kerala? What we discussed, what is this RRTS? Full form? UPSC will not ask, but if you are writing any other some competitive examinations, there is a chance of asking you the full forms of abbreviations. What is RRTS? We discussed right in earlier class about railways, problem, covered system. I said about history of Indian railways. Yes. It is regional rapid transit system. Please make a note. Regional rapid transit system. You may get a question. Recently, RRTS is in news. Which of the following state is implementing it? Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Mumbai, Maharashtra, Delhi. Like that, you will be getting a question. It is in Kerala, RRTS. Now you will say, but you have to get that kind of strike in examination because already you will be in extensive stress and pressure conditions. Okay. Yes, see here, what is this RRTS? RRTS is nothing but Regional Rapid Transit System, and it is a high speed rail system in Kerala state, and it is operating from Thiruvananthapuram to Kasargod. And next one here is, it is around how many kilometers? 583, I guess. Yes, it is around 583 kilometers. And what is the speed? We are running around 160 to 180 speed, because rather than beyond that we cannot operate. And next one here is, we are going to have that in 4 phases. I'll tell where it is. Okay, we are going to operate that in the 4 phases. First phase, it is around 284 kilometers. That is from Thiruvananthapuram to Thrissur. And next one is phase 2. Phase 2 is called as Malabar line. It is from Thrissur to Kozhikode. And third phase, it is Kannur line. It is from Kozhikode to Kannur. And phase 4, it is from Kannur to Kasargod. Like that, we are going to have this development in the 4 phases. We are not going in a single phase. And the estimated cost of this project is around 1.92 lakh crore rupees. And if you see the funding, here state government is going to bear 20% of funding, and 20% will be bared by central government, and 60% of funding they are going to get from loans from international financial institutions. Now you guys think like where Kerala government will go and will get the funds from? Which are those international organizations will be giving the funds? Any guess? Economy, international organizations topic? Tell me. First one is, can we go to IMF? Will IMF give for these developmental projects? IMF is for BOP. Remove that. Next. World Bank. Yes, World Bank will give. Next. We have Asian Development Bank. We have New Development Bank. We have AIIB Infrastructure Bank. So like that, you have to make the list of which are the international banks gives loans for the countries to develop infrastructure projects. Please make a list. You may get a question on that. Okay, so that is about this, guys. You have to see in which state, what is this phases, 4 phases, from which area to which area, what is the total length? Total length is 583 kilometers. Next one is, what is the expected speed? 160 to 180 kilometers per hour. And next one here is, yes, one more project which is going to happen in this Kozhikode region is Silver Line project. But this Silver Line project is having lots of challenges because of environmental concerns. Rather than that, they are going for this rapid rail transit project. Okay, see these questions, try to answer this. First one, it is about RRTS. Consider the following statements regarding RRTS recently approved by Kerala government. First statement, the project covers a total length of 583 kilometers from Thiruvananthapuram to Kasargod and is proposed to be implemented in 4 phases. The first phase is known as Travancore line, will connect Thiruvananthapuram to Thrissur and integrate with Thiruvananthapuram and Kochi metro systems. Okay. Third one, the estimated project cost is lower than the earlier proposed Silver Line semi-high speed rail project. With common sense, you can do this. Here you can see semi, it is rapid. So which will be having more technology? Rapid. Which will be more cost? Understanding? Rapid. Are you understanding the things? So like that, if you don't know exactly the number or allocated things, you can try to decipher that line and try to use your common sense. They gave here semi, but it is high speed. Okay, what will be the answer now? Okay, A. Say this next question. Consider the following statements. Article 23 of Indian Constitution prohibits traffic in human beings and beggar and makes both punishable offense. The Bonded Labor System Abolition Act 1976 completely abolishes the bonded labor system and extinguishes all bonded debts. The bonded labor is predominantly found in informal sector, especially in brick kilns, agriculture, stone quarries, and among SC, ST, and migrant workers. See the options 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 2 and 3, 1, 2, and 3. Think. That's all, guys. Online students, please let me know your answers in the comment box. By this, I'm concluding. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and please do like this class and as well as share this class, and do subscribe to Rathod's IS Academy. And we are going to launch a new batch for CSAT, guys. Actually, CSAT is becoming a big barrier for the students to clear prelims. So because of this, we are launching a new batch for CSAT, and we are providing on online and as well as offline, and the timings of the CSAT will be 2 to 4 p.m. and this CSAT classes will be going to be started from the 12th of this February, and you will be having classes for 30 days and around 70 hours of classes we are providing, and you will be having daily practice, and this CSAT classes will be taken by one IITian so that you can tackle this CSAT paper clearly, guys. And if you have any queries regarding the CSAT course, please do contact us on this number 8074765513. Or else if you want to come to institute, you can come and you can inquire in our institute. And this institute is located in Ashok Nagar, Hyderabad, exactly above Vikas Book Center, second and third floor, guys. Thank you so much.